The feeling that comes through is that there is an acknowledgement basically from Mom of every time we go on stage, every time we perform, every time we are all glammed up. The feeling that comes through is that there would have been this thing that would have been done kind of repeatedly, but it's like a little nod to Mom.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yeah. I do it, this is what I do, is that, you know, when I performed for her when I was a kid, I could do anything in the living room. I could do anything. It was always great. No matter how terrible I was, it was always great. Right. So what I do is whenever I go on stage, I remember that I think, this is Mama's living room. I'm gonna go on stage. Whatever you do is fine. And so that calms my nerves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's coming through really quick. Sorry. I'm seeing Diana Ross randomly. This is so weird. So there's a Diana Ross connection to your mom.
Well, the connection is that I was obsessed with Diana Ross and the Supremes, and I was so obsessed that I would perform the song with a broom for my mother in the living room. And years later, you know, she and I became friends.
Right. I love these earrings, so I assume these were your mom's?
These were hers, yep, yep. I was probably wearing those earrings when I did the impersonation.
She comes through and she acknowledges that you miss that.
I do.
Because it's like, I miss being able to just go to Mom and just be her son, you know? She's acknowledging that obviously since her passing, she's seen your achievements. When she passed, she knew you were a star. And I want you to know that. But she's saying, you're my special, like you're my baby boy.
I know that.
And the feeling is like, that's always going to be the case.
She'd gone to see a psychic before I was born.
Right.
And the psychic said, it's a boy and he's gonna be famous.
Wow.
So everything you're saying is right on.
She acknowledges that she was waiting for you before we even got here today. And she acknowledges that she knows that she's been talked to, asked to be around, like come through. There's a whole feeling of like, I was with you before you came today.
Where is she? She's been dead at least 10 years, and I have been calling for her. I'm thinking, why don't I see evidence of her speaking to me? Why is she the hummingbird? Is she the butterfly?
Right.
Where is she?
Right.
I just want to know that she's with me. But I've actually said to her, Nanny Kay, if you can hear me, let me know. I've done so many incredible things that she would have enjoyed so much.
Yes. It's so interesting because when she comes through, it's more of a personal connection. It's like if she's going to communicate to you, you're going to just kind of know or feel what she would have done. And that's more the way that she seems to connect. But that can be frustrating because it's less obvious. We want a clear billboard of a sign that shows that she's around. And I think if you really are open enough, you will feel her essence coming through what she would have done, what she would have said. And that is a more profound sign than any butterfly, any dragonfly. It just might not be as apparent visually. So it's a different kind of connection. It can be hard wondering, you know, how they feel. But
Yeah.
I think you knew how your grandmother viewed you in life and her personality, so you know, no doubt she would have been proud of everything you went on to do. And that's important, so.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. I know. Thank you.
So sweet.
Life is so short, really. We learn that sometimes when we lose people. It was very comforting to know that, you know, she's still present in the universe and she's somehow connected to me still.
All right. There. There. Mom's side. Two sisters. Mom. So weird. For some reason, they're having me refer to your mom, who's obviously living, right? I would assume. But they're having me talk about a situation, and they're having me talk about like change, transition, movement. This is coming through in a geographical sense. Where is Mom currently at?
Florida.
Florida. This is weird. They're putting movement like it feels like transitional. They're putting this like over the course of the next like, for some reason like the next month. They're having me like acknowledge like transition, movement, change. Do you have any plans to like leave Florida at all that you can think of?
She was okay until like a few days ago something happened. So now she is going through a transition in her life right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if she moved maybe out this way.
They are having me acknowledge reminding her for independence, and there's just this, it's coming from her side of family, and it's like, don't forget your ability to be independent. You can do things on your own. You don't have to stay in a situation because of another person or other people. And it's basically saying like, feel free to make this move, and that she needs to know this and have like that confidence.
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
Okay. I wasn't anticipating him picking up so much from my mom, and that is a situation that literally just happened, I think it was 2 days ago. She started transitioning out of a relationship. My mom has always been really relationship-based her whole life, and she's going through a transition there. And I think, you know, maybe because of her age, she's in her 60s, she may worry about that transition.
It's the weirdest thing, but I feel like that some of the best years of her life have yet to happen.
Okay.
You're showing her breaking free. It's like this whole visual thing. And it's like, now's your chance to kind of start and like start over. I keep hearing start over, start over, start over. It's a positive thing. I think she's on the right track.
I do too.
That's awesome.
My sister and I are always saying to each other, like, that's what we want for our mom, but we can't tell her. She doesn't listen to us. So maybe she'll listen to Tyler.
They're having me talk about her starting over. And that's really the only way I can describe it. They're basically having me talk about her feeling insecure because of her age and where she's at. And there's something with this, as odd as this sounds. It's not about career.
Yeah.
It's not about career. Like, I'm not focused on career. I'm actually more focused on her, where she's at her age. Obviously, she's still young, but there's this feeling of trying to plan the future and feeling that she's behind in some way.
Yeah. Liberty has just been going through a rough patch. It was weird because I don't want to, I don't want to breach her confidence. If she was here, she may want to say it or she may not. So I think as her sisters and as her family, we all try to help her move past it and become the person she's supposed to be. And
they're needing to let her know, like, no, this is good. Like, the best is yet to come. You need to be able to get all this stuff from the past out so that you can focus
I got to
towards the
text
future.
her this right now.
And that it's worth the effort.
Should I call her?
Yeah.
Hello, Liberty speaking.
Hi, Lib. Hi. I'm just going to put you on the phone to Tyler. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, Lib. This is Tyler.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, doing great. I'm just sitting here with your sister having a good old time. There was a message that came through for you, and I just wanted to deliver it to you firsthand because it seems like it was pretty important. Basically, with where you're at right now, it's gonna get a lot better. They've been watching over you over the past year, and they want you to know that based on where you're at, that like the best is yet to come with this, because they're having me talk about how you feel about yourself at your age and where you're at, and they just want to let you know, like, you're fine, it's gonna be good, but they're having me acknowledge cutting this cord from the past and making sure that we don't re-involve ourselves in it in any way. So it's very, very much like, good job for cutting that cord, severing those ties, but make sure we keep those cords kind of severed, is the message. And,
wow, okay.
And so basically the feeling...
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, so please know in whatever way, if that does apply, that this is a message you're meant to hear and that ultimately you're on the right track, the best is yet to come, and just stick to your guns with this because you're making the right choice. Sometimes I'll work with objects. They can sometimes kind of help bring in a connection.
As far as what I brought today, there's something we've always been wondering about. There was a scenario, and I can't be too specific, but there's mystery behind it. I'm intrigued to know, as is my family, I'm sure. I brought two things with me today. They together have the answer.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on to this. Okay, this is weird. The interesting thing is I have these two that are coming through, and they're coming through together. They're like locking arms to me, which is always a way of saying, like, we're here, we're together, but they're like a big primary emphasis that I'm gonna talk about. They're having me bring up your, I think, maternal grandfather.
Well, that's really the question. We want to discover what occurred,
Right.
you know, in this specific moment, and there's only two people that would really know, and
Right.
they've both passed on.
Let's keep going, this is interesting.
The speculation from the stories that I got from my grandfather is that he was arrested for her murder.
God.
She died at 17, and she had just had my mother. She was found with her hands tied behind her back, hung in the basement. So there was a fall.
Sure,
Just in a different way. And then after that, he was cleared. And they didn't really have enough evidence to say it was you that did it. And that's one of the things that we all want to know as a family. Did she do it herself, or did he do it? The question is Can we find the truth?
Yeah, so let's see. My symbol for alone, alone, alone.
Like she was felt super alone?
Like, it's just coming through in a way of like, I don't want to be with Grandpa. Like, and I don't, that, in the way this is coming across, but it's like an excitement of like leaving or what this is, but there's a feeling
Very
of like,
possible.
I should have been able to stick around so that I would have the time to exit the situation. I don't think he killed your grandmother. I don't think it's that kind of thing. This,
Right. That
regardless of how
she
this
made
is
the choice.
mishandled. Right.
And there was nobody else potentially involved either.
Based
That's
on
the
what I
thing.
can see, there's no indications of anyone else.
Other than herself.
Other than herself.